Hello. Today on the Bioanxiety podcast, we have the lovely Elle, who
Hi.
is the founder of Met Through Friends, an events company which organizes friends through friends singles events.
Yep, that's it.
Um, and yeah, I recently went to one of your events, and this is how we met. And I just thought it's really amazing what you're doing. So I wanted to get to know you more and learn more about Met Through Friends and what made you start it. So I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me, and thanks so much for coming. I'm so glad you had a good time,
And
and that sort of connected us. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here. And where do you want to start?
I guess we can start with I'd really like to know what gave you the idea of Met Through Friends. Was it like a specific incident, bad date that happened, or yeah?
Yeah, so I'd say honestly, it was originally a joke. There were friends of mine who, very understandably were complaining about the New York dating scene. It's just everybody ghosts. There's no accountability. I'm not meeting anyone I'm compatible with. I'm not having any fun. This is terrible. I don't know where to go to meet people. And that's really real, right? That's everyone's experience. But there was this part of me that was like, well, you're great. You know great people. Like, I know lots of great people. Like, I don't know, everyone come over to my apartment. Let's just have a party. Like, let's just get you all in one room. Like, what are we doing? Like, we know so many amazing people. Even if you don't want to date them, someone else might. But I was kind of kidding. Like, I wasn't single at the time. I was like, everybody come to my house. Everybody meet each other. But enough of my friends were like, that would be really fun. Like if you did that, I would come. So that was probably over 2 years ago now, and the first one went better than I expected it. I think people had a really, really good time, and there's something really refreshing about knowing that everyone in there was like looking for the same goal, that they were all vetted by friends. Nobody came alone. Everyone had to vouch for somebody else there. And everyone was nervous, right? Like it's not like, oh, some people were nervous and some people weren't. Everyone was trying something new. So even if people didn't end up connecting with each other at the party, I think they had a really good time and they found it to be really refreshing to connect in person. And people did connect romantically at the party, which was really cool to be like, I guess this might work. So I started getting requests to have them again. So every few months I'd have them. And then actually on Valentine's Day this year, I was like, you know what? Like let me start an LLC. Like let me just see if I can do this. Let me see if I can get into a venue. And I didn't really think I'd be able to do it full time, but demand, the first party sold out, and I kept getting more demand than I knew what to do with. And it was this sense of like, okay, I think I'm onto something. Let me see what I can do with this.
Nice, that's awesome. So when was the point when you were actually like, I need to take this out of my apartment?
Right.
Like,
I
how did
think
you start it?
yeah, so the last party I threw in my apartment, 60 people RSVP'd before I remembered to turn RSVPs off. And
Oh
I
my
was
god.
like, oh no, I do not have enough space in my New York apartment. What am I going to do? We moved the dining table and the coffee table and all the chairs out and like stuck them in the bedroom. And we're like, it was just like, we had no room for anything. And, it was packed to the gills and it was really, really fun. But I was like, okay, I can't have this many people in my apartment. Clearly there's more demand than I was aware of. Let's see what we can do sort of out of the apartment. And then in March of this year, we went to a venue for the first time, which was a great fit, a lot better.
Yeah, I found you guys actually through like a TikTok. No, it was an Instagram video, I
Okay.
think, about the one you guys did at Maxwell.
Oh
I think
yeah,
that's what it's
yeah, yeah.
called,
Uh
right? The
huh. Yeah,
Maxwell
Maxwell
Club or
Social. Yeah,
something. Maxwell Social, yeah.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's great. Like, I mean, your events are super fun. You're doing them like every week now, I think, right?
Yep. So having generally a few a week. So yeah, we're pretty busy.
That's amazing. So far, I mean, you've been doing this like so February was like 10 months ago.
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't even know anymore.
Yeah.
8 months ago.
Time is weird.
This year has just flown by. What has been like some obstacles you faced so far? Um, Surprise victories.
Yeah. So I think obstacles, it's I think for a lot of people a weird idea. A lot of people have to be convinced. I think they really love the idea, but they're like, is it weird to go to a singles event? Is that kind of cringy? Does that mean I'm desperate? Or maybe they're really excited about it, but they're like, I don't have the right person to bring, or maybe I do have someone to bring, but I'm really nervous to ask them. So there are a lot of hurdles from a sort of consumer perspective. Um, and then just sort of it's a lot of logistics. You have to, have a lot of relationships with a lot of venues and negotiate a lot of logistics and sell the tickets and price them appropriately and all those kinds of things. I'd say those are just, it's a lot of work, but it's really rewarding. But yeah, there's a lot of like just sort of momentum getting it off the ground and building it into a sustainable business. Cause I think it's one thing to just like sell tickets, people go to the event, you take the money and you sell tickets again. Like it's figuring out how to build a long-term business, I think is the next challenge. But, I'm just really happy that I get to see hundreds of awesome people every month. So it's been great.
I mean, this is already successful. I can only see it becoming more successful,
Thank you
honestly.
so much.
Because I mean, I understand like people being nervous because I was actually quite nervous to come to
Hmm.
the event. I brought a friend with me that I've known for a long time. Um, but it's these dating apps,
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
cannot. I only have Raya. I don't even use it. Like I've
Hmm.
just had it
Hmm.
since like it first started. But I would rather go to an event, and
Totally.
actually meet people like in real life and not be on my phone. Yeah, I just really think what you're doing is amazing. Which leads me to, I know starting a company is like very stressful.
Hmm.
It comes with its challenges, it's like anxiety. How do you like manage work-life balance? And did you have like any doubts, any fears before starting it? And how did you, go about eliminating those fears or just working through them?
Yeah, yeah, I definitely would not say they're eliminated. I feel like once a week I go, what am I doing? Like, what have I done? But, in a way that I think if I didn't feel that, that'd be weird, right? It's kind of like, yeah, if I'm doing a new scary thing, so trying to like normalize that for myself, it's like, I don't want to feel bad about feeling bad, that it's just, yeah, this is a scary, novel journey. And I think, weirdly giving myself like, not permission to fail, but an understanding that like what I'm doing is hard and new, and people haven't built a lot of businesses that look like this, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make it succeed. But just because this one business doesn't, take off overnight and turn me into a billionaire doesn't mean I haven't done something worth trying, and that I can always try again. A lot of businesses fail and then people learn from that and they start again. Those kinds of things. So trying to have a little bit of detachment from the outcome. Like I want it to be successful. I'm really excited about it, and it's been just the most fun chapter of my professional life so far, but like just trying to do the best I can and kind of see what happens.
What do you do like with like to keep yourself balanced?
Yeah. I will say I'm glad that I had like about 4 years of full time work from home experience beforehand and laid a lot of those foundations for
Mhm.
having sort of balance, like making sure I have a designated work area in my office. When I'm done for the day, I'm done. Like I close it. I have, a separate laptop for work. And when that's closed, it's closed for the day. Making sure that I still prioritize spending time with my own personal friends. I have such a social job now that I think it'd be really easy to be like, I'm getting social time, but it's not the same when it's not,
Yeah.
people you love. So it's like really making sure I prioritize one-on-one time with my friends and my family, that I still do group outings with people I know personally and care about, that I take time off. It's very scary to take time off when you're like, everything I do is my livelihood, but it's like I can't do a good job if I don't take care of myself kind of thing. So make sure I prioritize that. Um, but also a little bit of grace for the fact that like I can't do it perfectly. Like some things just come up, like everything's kind of on my shoulders at this stage until I can hire more people to help me out. So it's like it's okay if I don't do it perfectly. I'm gonna do my best, and it's gonna be messy, and that's okay.
I mean, this is your baby.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Like, it's tough. I understand where you're like, oh my God, I have to like do this. I have to be at every event because like you want everything to go wow. So do you attend every event?
For now, yes. So I'm at
Wow.
everything right now. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and I want to say I need to double check the numbers, but we're right around about 50 events since we launched. So, and I've been at every single one. So it's been a lot, but I find it really really fun and really rewarding. And there's just nothing cooler than seeing people like have a good time in person. So that doesn't get old. Just watching people make connections.
No, it's actually really cool to like see some people network and connect. And I saw
Hmm.
that a lot of people like really liked each other at the event. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and it was really nice to see and actually like have a real conversation with real people, not
yeah.
on a phone, like, yeah, it was refreshing.
I'm
It
so
was
so glad to hear
very,
that.
very refreshing. What has been your favorite event so far?
Oh, that's such a good question. Um, Oh, it's so hard to choose because they're all fun for different like reasons, I think. Hmm. Oh, it's like asking to choose between my favorite
Sorry.
children. No, but I mean,
Oh.
so I think it's been fun every time trying a new format and kind of seeing what works. I really loved the first like proper dinner party that we threw. Where yeah, it was a small group, but seeing that a small group could build really powerful connections. I think when people come into a small group, their initial thought is like, oh, there aren't enough people. I wanted more people. And you're like, that's kind of the antithesis of what we're doing. I want there to be big enough groups that people find someone that they can connect with, because the odds are just kind of lower with smaller groups. But watching people in a small group really take that time to settle in and actually talk to each other and actually realize they really enjoyed each other's company, I think is really magical. And that to me feels like a bit of a change in mindset. Like I just want more options. I want a bigger app with more people that meet more of my criteria. I want more. When really I think what is sort of the antidote to what we're experiencing is slowing down a little bit, spending more focused time with people, giving them a chance, being open to connection, and really investing in that. So I've really loved watching the small events be really meaningful. But even some of these, the Matchbox events we've done, like when the room gets really excited and when you see people really getting along with their matches and just staying and talking, I just think that's really magical as well.
That's awesome. And yeah, like talking about that, people like, I want more options. I I think that internet the internet and dating apps have completely ruined
Mm,
dating, because now it's just like, it used to be like we have access just to like friends, maybe you travel,
totally.
maybe you like go Italy and fall in love with a beautiful Italian man, or like, but now it's like everyone is accessible to us.
Right.
You can just choose like
Or at least
how
they
far,
seem
or they
accessible,
seem
right?
accessible, exactly, because nobody is like, I mean, there is good people out there. I know
Mm,
that as a fact because a lot
mhm.
of my friends are getting married. What is your take on that? Like, what is your take on like dating apps? What they're doing to like this culture?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say I'm anti dating app per se, but I'm anti only using dating apps or using them as your primary way to meet people. I think that's really, really dangerous. I think they can be an amazing tool for expanding an already vibrant social life. If you're already like, have strong connections with people, friend groups, you're already meeting people in public, you're taking those brave steps and you're like, oh, and I want a few more shots, right? I think they can be really amazing. But if they are like your first stop, you're like, this is where you go to meet people. I think it's dangerous, because all of the other social skills that are required in life can start to atrophy. You're not looking up from your phone. You're not smiling at people in
Yeah.
public. You're not striking up conversation. You're not being open to making platonic connections and seeing where they go. And I think that is something that I would probably encourage people not to do. It's like this is an addition. This is like a nice little extra tool in your tool belt, but it's not the only tool. So I mean, I met my fiance on a dating app. Like I'm not anti dating app, but I think using in-person connection skills as your first line of defense is, always going to be more effective.
I mean, I've heard horror stories from dating apps, so
Oh, totally. Me
like
too.
people getting catfished. Like,
Yeah, I think everyone who's ever been on a dating app can identify with that.
I could tell you some stories.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that's sort of it's easier to deal with those when you feel like you're otherwise like your life is socially full and rich and connected. It's so much easier to deal with a bad date or a catfish or whatever if you're like, you know what, I don't feel as like desperate, when I feel like my life is socially rich. Then you go on a bad date, it's no big deal. But if you're like, this is the only way and I'm having a lot of bad dates, yeah, then it feels horrible and it feels so much harder to bear. So that's a place I hope people can find a way out of eventually.
Yeah, I don't date, so
Yeah.
I was like, I came to the event to like put myself out
Wow.
there.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm honored.
No, I'm being serious. Like, I hadn't gone on a date. I don't even remember. I honestly don't even remember.
Wow.
But I was very excited about the event.
I'm
I was like,
I'm really honored.
yes. So yeah, talking about the events, how can people who are interested in coming to the events find you? Because I know some are on.
Yeah. So we drop all of our events on our mailing list. That's the most efficient way. It'll go straight to your inbox. We do monthly drops and then reminders throughout the weeks, of that month. And we, for the most part, launch everything on Instagram as well at the same time. So those are the two best ways to be in touch.
Nice. And I do have one final question for you.
Yeah.
I know it's a bit cliche, but what is one piece of advice you would give your younger self?
Ooh, one piece of advice I'd give my younger self. Do you mean like business wise or dating wise or professionally more generally?
Business wise,
Business wise.
because you're happy, you're engaged, right?
Yeah.
Like, I
Hey, doesn't mean I have all the answers.
both.
Okay. um I think I would probably tell myself to be a little less afraid of starting because I think there's a big tendency to want to wait until you have it all figured out and it's all perfect. But I think you learn by doing and you figure things out by seeing what succeeds and what doesn't. So this idea like, oh no, you can only, start when you have a perfect business plan and all the funding in place and, all that kind of stuff. It's just kind of trust yourself to problem solve and learn along the way, I think would be helpful. I'm glad I didn't start before I did. I'm glad I had a bunch of different other chapters in my career before this, and I think that helped a lot. But I think just remembering that like you can solve problems, and it's not if you fail, it's when and just what you do when that happens, and you can work your way through that.
What about love advice?
Love advice. I think I think again, everything that happened led me to where I am and I'm really happy. So there's a certain sense of like, maybe I don't want to give myself any advice because it's like, I think we can take this also seriously. It's like a good reminder to like, just have a good time. But I think, for myself, and I guess more broadly is like, just be honest about what you actually want. Um, and then just say it out loud and go for it because I think it's very easy to say like, oh, I want this thing because it's what everyone else has or what I think I'm supposed to want, or I'm not really gonna say what I want because I'm really scared, and then if I say it out loud and then I'm afraid I'm not gonna get it and it's gonna hurt that just whatever it is, whether it's conventional or unconventional, just like own it, and when you do, the right people will find you. So I think that would be my reminder to myself.
Thank you. That was awesome. I mean, it was amazing also just to learn more about why you did this venture.
Yeah, thanks so
And
much for
I'm so
having me.
excited to see it growing.
Thank you so much. Send me your
And
friends.
yeah, of course. And yeah, everybody, I will tag Elle on the podcast and Instagram. Follow her. Met through friends. Events are on Eventbrite as well,
Yes,
right?
on
Eventbrite for tickets. And yeah, and I hope a lot of people are gonna fall in love with your events,
I
which
hope
they
so.
will.
And make friends and make connections and
Yeah.
feel
I actually
confident. I
made
love
some
all
really
of
good
it.
friends at the event.
I
They're,
love when that
yeah,
happens
one
just
of them
as
she
much.
lives across the street.
That's
I'm being
amazing.
serious.
I'm equally happy. Honestly, I know people come looking to date, but I'm like, I'm just as happy if people made a friend. I'm like, that win. We're connecting in person. I love it.
I met some awesome people for sure.
I'm so
Well,
glad.
thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks.